Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next hour, Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanks his Malaysian counterpart Anwar Ibrahim for deepening a partnership rooted in trust, friendship and shared aspirations. India and Malaysia hold delegation-level talks. Both sides exchange 11 agreements, agree to elevate ties in energy, manufacturing, digital economy, semiconductors, education, tourism, among others. The US gives June deadline to end Ukraine-Russia conflict, warns pressure on both sides to meet and find solution. Zelensky, meanwhile, accuses Moscow of continuing to attack power facilities. Japanese Prime Minister Sanei Takaichi hopes for big win as polls open in national elections amid rare and record snowfall. And in cricket, India begin World Cup T20 title defence with a 29-run victory over the USA. Skipper Suryakumar Yadav carries the country towards the victory after early scare. Let's begin with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Malaysia. India and Malaysia signed several agreements in the fields of combating and preventing corruption, standards of training, certification and watchkeeping for seafarers and disaster management. Both the countries signed an agreement on audiovisual production, a memorandum of collaboration in the field of labour, the exchange of notes in the fields of semiconductors, healthcare, national security and vocational education and training, the exchange of letters on United Nations peacekeeping cooperation and the submission of the Framework Agreement on International Big Cats Alliance was also signed. So, addressing the joint presser after the delegation-level talks, Prime Minister Modi said that Malaysia is the first nation that he is visiting in 2026. He added that India and Malaysia civilizations share cultural heritage and democratic values that still bind both countries together.
सिक्योरिटी के क्षेत्र में हम काउंटर टेररिज्म, इंटेलिजेंस शेयरिंग और मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी में सहयोग मजबूत करेंगे। हम रक्षा सहयोग को भी और व्यापक बनाएंगे। एआई और डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज के साथ-साथ हम सेमीकंडक्टर, हेल्थ और फूड सिक्योरिटी में साझेदारी को आगे बढ़ाएंगे। आज आयोजित सीईओ फोरम ने ट्रेड और इन्वेस्टमेंट के नए अवसर खोले हैं। हम स्ट्रेटेजिक ट्रस्ट से इकोनॉमिक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन का रास्ता बनाएंगे।
Prime Minister Modi also stressed on strong cultural ties and the importance of Indo-Pacific region. He reiterated India's commitment to peace and stability in the region.
भारत और मलेशिया को तमिल भाषा के प्रति साझा प्रेम भी जोड़ता है। मलेशिया में तमिल की मजबूत और जीवंत उपस्थिति शिक्षा, मीडिया और सांस्कृतिक जीवन में दिखाई देती है। मुझे भरोसा है कि आज के ऑडियो विजुअल एग्रीमेंट से फिल्म और संगीत, विशेष रूप से तमिल फिल्में हमारे दिलों को और पास लाएगी। हम अपने युवाओं के बीच यूनिवर्सिटी एक्सचेंज, स्टार्टअप कनेक्ट और स्किल डेवलपमेंट के अवसर भी बढ़ा रहे हैं। हमारे बढ़ते संबंधों को सपोर्ट करने के लिए हम मलेशिया में नया कॉन्सुलेट भी खोलने जा रहे हैं। फ्रेंड्स, इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र में क्षेत्र के विश्व की ग्रोथ इंजन के रूप में ये उभर रहा है। हम आसियान के साथ पूरे इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र में विकास, शांति और स्थिरता के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है।
All right, let's connect with Meghna Dev joining us from Kuala Lumpur there. Meghna, could you tell us more about the agreement signed today between India and Malaysia, especially the ones reached in the fields of semiconductors and healthcare?
Yes, specifically when we actually see Tanvi, semiconductors was one sector that was most sought after, because we know that already Malaysia has about 30 to 40 years of experience in the semiconductor sector, and the semiconductor and allied industries and products actually contribute a lot to their GDP as well as to their exports. So when we actually see that these kind of renewed investments and focus on semiconductors will provide definitely a benefit to Malaysia as well as to India, when we actually see that they already are playing a critical node in the global semiconductor supply chain. And when we see that Kuala Lumpur will have benefits of India, that brings scale and demand, while definitely Malaysia brings integration and the kind of manufacturing depth that is required for the semiconductor industry. Now, we also do see that India's digital ecosystem, it also offers new models for low-cost digital inclusion, opportunities for fintech, cybersecurity, infrastructure for scalable digital trade. So all of these are some of the important sectors that are to be looked into, that have been discussed today. We also do see that Prime Minister Narendra Modi also mentioned, and the Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim also mentioned about tourism carrying a lot of potential. We do see that about 1.5 million Indian tourists visited Malaysia, and about 3 lakh Malaysian tourists visited India. This is still below potential accordingly, but yeah, it is a very high number. It's even higher than post-COVID numbers. So we can definitely see that Malaysia is trying to provide accessible, affordable, more welcoming, culturally rich and diverse. It's becoming a sought-after destination for Indian outbound travel. And when we know that India's outbound travel is continuously growing, Malaysia is definitely going to, tap into it. This year it's Visit Malaysia 2026, the initiative that has been taken by Malaysia to boost tourism in their country. And yesterday, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is one of those leaders who is the first to visit in the Visit Malaysia 2026 initiative that has been taken up by Malaysia. Now we also see, for that matter, we look at the Big Cat Alliance. Malaysia had agreed that they will join the Big Cat Alliance. I think the formalities are underway. Talk about ITGA, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that ASEAN-India Trades and Good Agreement is something that, India is trying as early as possible to finalize with ASEAN. We see that it was supposed to be finalized by 2025, but it wasn't. So now this visit, as we know that Malaysia is the ASEAN chair, this visit will obviously give more momentum to the India-ASEAN Trades and Good Agreement talks. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also in his press statement said that he is expecting it to be finalized soon. So clearly a lot of focus on ITGA as well, because ASEAN is one of the largest trade areas for India, especially when we're talking about the East. So, for that matter, Malaysia is the third largest trading partner in the ASEAN region. So this also is one of the aspects that has to be, that was talked about and has to be accelerated so that there are some more results on the ground. So these are some of the diverse areas that have been spoken about and discussed today. Besides, we'll obviously have to see the joint statement once it comes out after after Prime Minister engagements of the day are over. So we'll get to know more of, in depth and more in depth about what more talks have happened between both the leaders.
Okay, we leave it here. Thank you very much, Meghna Dev, for joining us from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Let's also tell our viewers, Prime Minister Modi reiterated India's stand against terrorism and called for reforming global institutions to address global uncertainties prevailing in the world.
वैश्विक अस्थिरता के इस माहौल में भारत और मलेशिया की बढ़ती मित्रता दोनों देशों के लिए अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण है। हमारा साझा मत है कि आज के चैलेंजेस का समाधान करने के लिए ग्लोबल इंस्टीट्यूशंस का रिफॉर्म बहुत जरूरी है। हम शांति के सभी प्रयासों का समर्थन करते रहेंगे और आतंकवाद पर हमारा संदेश स्पष्ट है। नो डबल स्टैंडर्ड्स, नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज। एक्सेलेंसी, भारत मलेशिया संबंधों के प्रति आपकी प्रतिबद्धता का हम सराहना करते हैं। आइए हम साथ मिलकर प्रॉस्परस मलेशिया का आपका सपना और विकसित भारत के हमारे संकल्प को साकार करें।
Malaysian Prime Minister lauded Prime Minister Modi's peace efforts at the global front and said that exchanges with Prime Minister Modi are not mere diplomatic exchanges, rather they are exchanges between friends.
In my discussions with Prime Minister Modi, it is not just normal pious platitudes and diplomatic exchanges. It is an exchange between true friends, full of trust and understanding, and therefore I must also take this opportunity to express my regards and thanks to him for his firm commitment to support all peace efforts throughout the world, be it in Ukraine, Russia, or in the case of the Middle East, particularly in Gaza. His commitment to support the peace process is unequivocal, and I must therefore express my appreciation. And as a sign of our good relations, I immediately have agreed to support the decision of the government of India to open a consulate of India in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah.
Also, Malaysian Prime Minister added that India is growing by leaps and bounds and Malaysia wants to increase its trade with India.
India is growing by leaps and bounds. It won spectacular rise in the international economic and trade scene, and therefore Malaysia in the ASEAN context would certainly benefit immensely if we could secure more ways and opportunities to collaborate with India, to extending beyond the $18.59 billion that we achieved in 2025.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim held delegation-level talks in Putrajaya. Leaders held wide range of discussion on issues of mutual interest covering bilateral partnerships as well as regional stability. Prime Minister Modi thanked his counterpart for the warm welcome. Prime Minister stressed that both nations need to utilize their full potential.
आतंकवाद के खिलाफ हमारी लड़ाई में मित्र देशों का साथ बहुत मायने रखता है। एक तरह से एक्सेलेंसी, हमारा दृढ़ विश्वास है कि भारत और मलेशिया की समृद्धि एक दूसरे से जुड़ी हुई है। वैश्विक अस्थिरता के इस वातावरण में भारत और मलेशिया दो मैरीटाइम नेबर उसको अपने संबंधों की पूरी क्षमता का उपयोग करना जरूरी है। मेरी आज की यात्रा का मूल संदेश एकदम स्पष्ट है कि भारत मलेशिया के साथ मिलकर हमारे संबंधों को नए स्तर पर ले जाना चाहता है और सहयोग के हर क्षेत्र में विस्तार और प्रगाढ़ता लाना चाहता है।
Malaysian Prime Minister said that India and Malaysia share deep connected ties from centuries and both nations are going to work on strengthening these ties further.
We have established excellent relations, and I'm proud to say thank you again, because the last 2 years it has surpassed the normal traditional relationship, thanks to you and the team. And we have discussed privately too some of the issues concerned, which I think need to be elaborated by our team. But the principle is important, that we can stay in here as a great friendly nation of ours, close to Malaysia, culturally, and of course now geopolitics, and we will expect more collaboration in all fields.
Earlier, Prime Minister Modi received a ceremonial welcome where he was accorded with a Guard of Honour in Putrajaya. This is Prime Minister Modi's third visit to Malaysia and his first since bilateral ties were upgraded to a comprehensive strategic partnership in August 2024. We are heading for a short break here on DD India Newshour. Stay with us. All right, you're watching DD India Newshour. Thank you for staying with us. The India AI Impact Summit 2026 will be held in New Delhi from February 16th to 20th. It is said to be the largest global AI summit yet also in Global South, highlighting the growing focus on responsible, inclusive and impact-driven artificial intelligence. AI is transforming every sector and healthcare is no exception. It is reshaping the way patients are diagnosed, treated and monitored. Here in India, technology-driven healthcare is making rapid progress with AI enhancing diagnostics, improving patient care and boosting the efficiency of hospitals across the country. Take a look.
Healthcare systems around the world are facing increasing strain from aging populations, the rise of chronic diseases, and persistent workforce shortages. These pressures have driven hospitals and policymakers to seek smarter, more efficient solutions. Artificial intelligence or AI has emerged as a powerful tool to transform medical practice and healthcare delivery. From assisting physicians in interpreting medical images and scans to identifying high-risk patients and optimizing hospital operations, AI is reshaping how healthcare organizations function. The impact of AI in healthcare is both broad and far-reaching. Its applications include early detection of cancers and cardiovascular diseases through radiological imaging, outcome prediction using electronic health records, and improvements in clinical trial design and efficiency. Advances in imaging technologies have also significantly improved patient experiences with the support of AI tools such as computer-aided detection, automated image analysis, and deep learning reconstruction. These tools enhance image quality, speed up scans, and support faster diagnosis.
We are essentially world record holding CT scan MRI scan specialists who have in the past 14 years served approximately 30 lakh patients with high quality CT MRI scans. I believe that with the intersection of AI and healthcare, India has a lead to do something which is amazing. India has a beautiful healthcare ecosystem, and we can use AI, combine that with the healthcare ecosystem to create something very powerful and cost effective that can be exported to anybody in the globe.
For India, AI has emerged as a transformative force with the potential to accelerate the country's economic growth and improve the quality of life of its citizens. AI is improving healthcare access and outcomes, particularly in rural areas. AI-powered telemedicine, including chatbots and symptom checkers, connects rural patients to doctors, reducing travel and wait times. India has recently added advanced medical education and digital healthcare with a landmark initiative in AI training for doctors. The National Board of Examinations in Medical Sciences launched an online training program on AI in medical education. The initiative aims to strengthen digital skills among medical professionals and empower them to effectively incorporate AI tools into healthcare delivery and academic practice. Artificial intelligence is not only transforming healthcare in India, but it is also playing a key role in the country's broader vision of inclusive, technology-driven development. As New Delhi is set to host the India AI Impact Summit 2026, bringing together global leaders, policymakers, innovators, and experts, the focus would be on sessions that would deliberate on how artificial intelligence can transform the future of medical world. Bureau Report, DD India.
All right, let's now take a look at the updates coming from the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Well, the United States wants Ukraine and Russia to end their nearly 4-year-long conflict by June, and it has offered to host talks between the two sides in Florida next week. In his nightly video address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Washington had proposed talks in Miami in a week and that Kiev had agreed to do that. He also accused Russia for overnight strikes on Ukrainian energy facilities, saying Moscow must be deprived of the ability to use the cold winter weather as leverage against Kiev. This week's talks in Abu Dhabi concluded without a major breakthrough, but Russia and Ukraine agreed to exchange 157 prisoners of war each, resuming such swaps after a 5-month pause.
The Russian struggle, among other things, at facilities on which the operation of nuclear power plant depends. And this is a danger for Ukraine, for our entire region and for Europe. Today, the units of our Ukrainian nuclear power plant reduced generation. One unit automatically shut down. There were more than 400 Russian drones, and a significant part of them were Shahed. There were also almost 40 missiles of various types. Ukrainian soldiers managed to shoot down a significant part, but not all of them.
400 российских дронов,
US President Donald Trump and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are set to meet on Wednesday in Washington to discuss negotiations with Iran. In a statement, Benjamin Netanyahu's office said that he believes any negotiations must include limitations on ballistic missiles and a halting of the support for the Iranian axis. Wednesday's meeting will mark the 6th such meeting between the two leaders since Donald Trump took office a year ago. The US and Israel have repeatedly warned Iran that they would strike again if Tehran pressed ahead with its nuclear enrichment and ballistic missile programs. Iran and the US held negotiations in Oman on Friday, and Trump later said that the talks would resume early next week. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi also hoped that talks with the United States would resume soon, while reiterating Tehran's red lines. He also warned that Tehran would target US bases in the region if the US attacked Iranian territory. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner visited the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea on Saturday after completing a round of talks with Iran. The aircraft carrier is part of the Lincoln Carrier Strike Group, which is the most visible part of a US military build-up in West Asia, following a violent crackdown against anti-government demonstrations last month, the deadliest domestic unrest in Iran since its 1979 revolution. After the visit, Witkoff wrote on X that he, Kushner and Cooper met with the brave sailors and Marines aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, a strike group and carrier Air Wing 9, who are upholding President Trump's message of peace through strength in the region. Shifting focus to Europe now, Greenland Foreign Minister said on Saturday that US talks are positive, but the outcome remains uncertain. Speaking at a joint news conference with her Danish and Canadian counterparts, Vivian Motzfeldt also welcomed the opening of Canada's new consulate in Greenland's capital, Nuuk, while Denmark's Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen also said at the news conference that new meetings with the United States were scheduled. Canada and France, which both oppose US President Donald Trump's claim to Greenland, opened consulates in the Danish Autonomous Territory's capital on Friday. Greenland is a semi-autonomous Danish territory that has become a focal point due to President Trump's assertion that US control of the island is a national security priority.
We had the historical opening of the Canadian consulate here in Nuuk. This provides an important connection between our countries and peoples. The consulate will serve as an essential bridge for future cooperation as we work to secure peace and sustainability in our shared Arctic region. Greenland is facing difficult times, and I want to thank Canada for being a steadfast friend and supporter of our country.
The whole thing escalated, and now we are back on track, and as Vivian just said, the very first meeting has taken place. New meetings are scheduled, and I think we serve our best interest if we leave that discussion with these people who are dedicated to solve the problem in the diplomatic track.
You're watching DD India News Hour. We'll head for another break in the bulletin. A lot more on the other side. Stay with us.
Food systems contribute to a third of global planet warming emission. In today's episode, let's take a look at what happens when food systems stop working for everyone.
After Hatibondo arrived, we discussed as a village the challenge that we were facing. And we came to the conclusion that we should sow some crops, especially for the elephants.
The Meramok Cafe is basically promoting the circular economy. So there's not much transportation involved in that process. So this is one way that we are reducing the carbon emission from that point of view.
Is probably laughing because despite the fact that they're cleaning up other people's problems for free, it seems like nobody here actually wants them to be doing it.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Tanvi Taneja. A quick reminder of the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanks his Malaysian counterpart Anwar Ibrahim for deepening a partnership rooted in trust, friendship and shared aspirations. India and Malaysia hold delegation-level talks. Both sides exchange 11 agreements, agree to elevate ties in energy, manufacturing, digital economy, semiconductors, education, tourism, among others. US gives June deadline to end Ukraine-Russia conflict, warns pressure on both sides to meet and find solution. Zelensky, meanwhile, accuses Moscow of continuing to attack power facilities. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi hopes for big win as polls open in national elections amid rare and record snowfall. And in cricket, India begin their World Cup T20 title defence with a 29-run win over USA. Skipper Suryakumar Yadav carries the country to victory after early scare. Polls opened across Japan on Sunday in an election expected to hand Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi a resounding win. Opinion polls indicate Takaichi's Liberal Democratic Party, which has governed Japan almost uninterrupted for decades, it is on track to comfortably surpass the 233-seat threshold needed for a majority in the 465-member chamber. Pollsters say the LDP and its coalition partner could even capture as many as 310 seats, enough for a commanding two-thirds supermajority, though they caution that undecided voters and wintry weather could still influence turnout and final results. Rare snow blanketed Tokyo. Meanwhile, on Sunday, record snowfall is blanketing parts of the country. It could keep some voters at home, with some having to battle blizzards to pass their verdict on Takaichi's administration. It is only the third post-war election held in February, with elections typically called during milder months. Minor traffic disruptions were reported in Tokyo, while nationwide 37 train lines and 58 ferry routes were halted and 54 flights cancelled as of Sunday morning. Thailand heads to the polls on Sunday as well, after a turbulent 2 years that have seen 3 prime ministers, as reformist parties face off against conservatives who have repeatedly held on to power. No party is forecast to win an outright majority, and coalition negotiations are expected to follow the results. Analysts say the current Conservative Prime Minister could again retain office by forging an alliance with Pheu Thai, now polling third. Voters are also weighing in through a separate referendum, offering a signal on constitutional reform in principle, though no specific changes are on the ballot. The Pheu Thai party's PM candidate Yotchanan and Thailand's People's Party PM candidate Nachapong cast their votes in Thailand general election today. The inaugural edition of the India-EU Forum was organized by the Ministry of External Affairs in collaboration with Ananta Centre in New Delhi. In a post on X, MEA spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal said External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar addressed the inaugural session of the forum on Friday, while Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal addressed a session at the forum on trade, industry and economic engagement. The Greek Minister of National Defence, Nikos Dendias, also addressed a special fireside chat. The forum brought together more than 200 policymakers, thought leaders and policy practitioners from India and Europe who deliberated on important areas of cooperation between India and Europe. Union Minister for Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwini Vaishnav, has said that India's Semiconductor Mission 2.0 will prioritize indigenous chip design, their manufacture, attracting ecosystem partners and development of talents. The minister was speaking at a Qualcomm event in Bengaluru on Saturday. He announced a 2-nanometer chip of the company, which has been developed in India. Holding a chip wafer in his hands, the minister described its capabilities and the precision manufacturing involved in it. The Indian government has allocated 1,000 crore rupees for India Semiconductor Mission 2.0. This is for the fiscal year 2026-27, with emphasis on industry-led research and training centers to drive technology development and create a future-ready, skilled workforce. The minister said India's roadmap to advance from current 28-nanometer manufacturing capabilities to 7-nanometer technology will be a key focus under Semicon 2.0.
We will be focusing on design as the topmost priority, equipment and materials as the next priority, talent to a next level where much deeper capability, that capability to design a complete system as a student, that will be our next target. Getting more fabs and ATMP units will also be part of the work, and making sure that our path to 7 nanometers from the current 28 nanometers, that progress to 7 nanometers will be part of the next version of Semicon 2.2. We should be able to finally complete it within next few months.
Minister Vaishnav also inaugurated Texas Instruments' new Research and Development Centre in Bengaluru. The new centre features a collaborative workspace dedicated to developing world-class chip designs. The event also commemorated the company's 40-year presence in India. The minister said that Texas Instruments is a true pioneer in India's semiconductor journey. Poland's Deputy Foreign Minister is on a two-day visit to India. He held meetings with his Indian counterparts. DD India's Jessica Taneja spoke to him about the India-EU Free Trade Agreement and a potential defence agreement.
India and the EU concluded a free trade agreement after nearly 2 decades of negotiations. What, according to you, got it across the finish line?
I think we realized that it's quite important that given that between India and the EU we would form a bloc of 2 billion people, that we should cooperate, because it's the competition and the new tariffs are making life difficult. That's why the EU also concluded a treaty with Latin America, with South America, with Mercosur, although that is more contested. It gives us a huge possibility to grow our businesses. Artificial barriers to trade do not help to grow economies.
You said the trade deal with Mercosur is still pending because it has to be ratified by the European Council and the European Parliament. That is looking at a potential deadlock. How confident are you that the India-EU FTA will be ratified both by the European Parliament and then, of course, proceed to the European Council for final implementation?
That's a completely different deal. First of all, in a very pragmatic way, the Secretary of Commerce of India and the negotiators on the European Union side decided to concentrate on something which can be achieved. Every contentious issue was deliberately excluded from the deal because we don't have to agree on everything. We just have to agree on enough for the deal to make sense. And therefore it will not be contested in the European Parliament, because actually it makes lots of sense. Mercosur was different because there were some provisions in the deal which seriously harm some European countries.
Poland has 44 billion euros additional money on defense spending, as you had pointed out. How are you planning to engage the Indian industries for potential partnerships in the future?
We're talking with India now that the EU also signed security and defense agreements with India, so India can be included in the spending of this 44 additional billion euros, because India is interested in our drones, India is interested in our radar systems, in our movable anti-missile systems. We are interested in producing satellites in India. So we are interested in Indian artillery shells, in some other matters, in some things we are looking at Indians producing in Poland, some things Poles producing in India.
Next, some news related to the interim bilateral trade agreement agreed upon between US and India. Union Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan on Sunday said that the framework for the trade agreement with the United States will not harm Indian farmers. Addressing a press conference in Bhopal, the Indian Agriculture Minister said that Indian farmers' interests have been fully protected in the trade deal with the United States, adding that no key crops, fruits, dairy products or spices have been opened to American imports.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा था मैं देश नहीं और किसानों के हितों पर कोई आंच नहीं आने दूंगा। आप इस ट्रेड डील में देखेंगे कि ये दोनों चीजों का पूरा ध्यान रखा गया है। अगर कृषि और कृषि उत्पादों को देखें तो मित्रों, भारतीय किसानों को नुकसान हो ऐसा कोई उत्पाद सम्मिलित नहीं किया गया है। सभी ऐसी वस्तुओं को समझौते के बाहर रखा गया है। सोयाबीन, मक्का, चावल, गेहूं, चीनी, मोटे अनाज, पोल्ट्री, डेयरी, केले, स्ट्रॉबेरी, चेरी, खट्टे फल, हरी मटर, काबुली चना, मूंग, तिलहन, इथेनॉल, तंबाकू जैसे उत्पादों पर कोई टैरिफ में छूट नहीं दी गई।
India's Home Minister Amit Shah is currently on a 3-day visit to Chhattisgarh. The Home Minister will chair a high-level review meeting to assess the current situation of left-wing extremism. During the meeting, the situation in Naxal-affected areas of Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Maharashtra and Odisha will be discussed. The meeting will also review the progress of the ongoing operations and intelligence inputs. Senior officials from Central Armed Police Forces, State Police and intelligence agencies will participate in the meeting. It is being claimed that anti-Naxal operations are likely to gain further momentum following this review. After the review meeting, the Union Home Minister will attend a national conclave. And now let's take a look at other stories making news in India. Researchers in Odisha's Similipal National Park have identified 148 species of lichens, the highest ever recorded in the state. The study was conducted by scientists from Maharaja Sri Ramchandra Bhanjadev University, Baripada. The several species contain compounds with strong anti-cancer potential, aiding new drug research. Rajasthan Chief Minister Bhajan Lal Sharma flagged off the Alwar Tiger Half Marathon 2026 along with Deputy Chief Minister Diya Kumare. Actor Randeep Hooda was also present at the event. The marathon is aimed to promote fitness and wildlife conservation. Tripura Chief Minister Manik Saha inaugurated the 12th Annual State Conference Etocon 2026 in Agartala. The event was organized by the All Tripura Ophthalmological Society. The Chief Minister also addressed doctors and delegates at the conference. Time now to head into another break here on DD India Newshour. Sporting action on the other side. Stay with us.
Tamil Nadu.
Open your mind.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Newshour. I am Tanvi Taneja. Italian alpine rescue teams have recovered the body of an ice climber from the Lilas ice falls in Cogne. The incident took place in the Valle d'Aosta region in northwest Italy. The tragedy follows the deaths of 3 people in avalanches while skiing off in northern Italy. 2 avalanches struck the Marmolada area near Cortina d'Ampezzo, a venue for the Winter Games. Aerial footage on Saturday showed widespread flooding across Spain's Cadiz and Malaga provinces as Storm Marta compounded recent violent weather across the region. Successive storms, including Leonardo and now Marta, have dumped torrential rain, strong winds and snow, overwhelming rivers and infrastructure. More than 11,000 people have been forced to evacuate homes in Andalusia, while authorities have closed roads and rail services have been disrupted. Spanish weather officials have issued orange alerts, warning of continued rain, coastal hazards and dangerous conditions. And now let's bring some sporting action for you. First news from cricket. India began their ICC T20 World Cup campaign with a win. In their opening match played in Mumbai, India defeated the United States by 29 runs. The USA won the toss and chose to bowl first. India did not get off to a good start and at one stage had lost 6 wickets for 77 runs. For India, captain Suryakumar Yadav played a brilliant innings of 84 runs of 49 balls, taking the team's total to 161 runs for 9 wickets. In reply, the USA team could manage only 132 runs for 8 wickets in 20 overs. For the USA, Sanjay Krishnamurthy and Shubham Ranjane were the top scorers, with both scoring 37 runs each. For India, Mohammad Siraj took the most wickets, claiming 3. The Indian team will now play its next match against Namibia in New Delhi on February 12th. England begin their T20 World Cup against Nepal at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium. A 3-0 T20 series sweep over Sri Lanka was the perfect preparation for Harry Brook's side, and they are likely to prove a cut above Nepal, who are making only their 3rd appearance at the tournament, having been completely outclassed in the West Indies and the USA 2 years ago. Nepal lost all 3 of their completed matches in the 2024 edition, but will hope to put up better performance in this edition. Co-hosts Sri Lanka will open their campaign against Ireland in Group B at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo on Sunday. The Lankans will be desperate to return to the winning ways early in the tournament after 3 successive losses at the hands of England and a forgettable T20 international tri-series in Pakistan last year. Ireland will look to improve on their disastrous show in the T20 World Cup 2024, where they had failed to win even one match. Ireland are one of the most reputed lower-ranked teams, which have produced some world-class performances in ICC tournaments. They will hope to pull off some huge upsets against higher-ranked opponents. It took only one try for 24-year-old Franco van Almen to claim Olympic gold in the men's alpine skiing downhill on Saturday as he eclipsed Swiss great and teammate Marco Odermatt. He made it look easy on the daunting Stelvio slope, but the path to gold has been far from smooth. After the tragic loss of his father when he was 17, his burgeoning career was almost stalled by a lack of funding. A trained carpenter, Almen turned to crowdfunding, allowing him to continue for one more season, and it paid off. He defeated Odermatt by a whopping 0.70 seconds to clinch the gold medal for Switzerland.
Yeah, it's crazy feeling. Feels like a movie, but at the end I tried to see it as a normal ski race, like a World Cup race. Now when I see the medal, it's a little bit more special, I would say. And yeah, to start like this in the Olympics, it's crazy.
That's it in this edition of DD India News Hour.